Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Beasley here, back again for our Week 5 battle of the RWL. This week, we're taking on the Commissioner Kohanx. If you guys haven't checked him out yet, I'll link his Twitch down below. He is 4-0 currently, and in the other league that I'm also participating in now, he is 6-0, so he's definitely a really great battler. Highly recommend checking out his Twitch streams. So anyways, guys, so first, we're going to just take a look at his team. Like I said, he is 4-0 right now, so he's a really big threat in the league. He's one of the only two teams right now that are 4-0, so, and we are actually sitting at 3-1, so we're right behind him. But his first, we're just going to look at his Monza first. So we got Zygarde 50%, Rotom, Wash, Crobat, Arcanine, Ditto, Palossand, Genesect, Miltank, Slurpuff, regular Tyranitar, and Mega Alakazam. The first thing I noticed with his team is the fact that Zygarde is a really big threat to mine. Nothing really wants to switch in and take 1,000 arrows at +1. And not a lot of things want to take outrages and extreme speeds. So Zygarde was a really big threat. Other things that are really big threats are like Arcanine. I didn't really have the best switch-ins to, since it got such great coverage. Rotom, I didn't really have the best switch-ins to. Alakazam, I don't really have the best answers to, besides Choice Scarfer, obviously, since nothing on my team outspeeds it. Genesect is a really big threat as well, since especially if it's Choice Scarfed, it's a really big threat if it's Choice Scarfed. And Slurpuff, obviously, is always a big threat with that Belly Drum. So let's just hop right into it. Let's see what we brought. So first, we brought our Nammer, our Tapu Fini with leftovers, Misty Surge, obviously, with the Moonblast, Nature's Madness, Haze, and Defog, with 252 HP, 124 defense with a bold nature, and 132 special defense. So first thing that this allows us to do is be 3-hit KO'd by a +1,000 arrows. So I thought that was necessary since the Zygarde was such a big threat. Moonblast is pretty much to hit everything outside of Arcanine, and as you can see, even though we're a water type, we don't really have anything to hit Arcanine, which was kind of a problem, but it didn't end up being a problem because I got a dedicated switch in. Oh, also, this week, like the day before the battle, I dropped Dragonite for Salamence, since I thought I had a good matchup here, and I wasn't really ever going to plan on bringing Dragonite anytime soon, just looking at my next upcoming matchups. So I decided to go with the Salamence over the Dragonite in free agency. And as you can see, it's right there on the end. So yeah, so this Tapu Fini is primarily to handle things like Alakazam. It can kind of handle mainly Zygarde. It can live a +6 play rough, I believe, from a Slurpuff, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's +5, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this bulk allows us to live 2,000 arrows from a +1 Zygarde, which was perfect, is what exactly we needed. Haze is obviously to get rid of any stat boost that anything he wants to go for. Nature's Madness is cut anything's HP in half, and Defog is just to get rid of any hazards. Originally, I didn't have 124 defense and 132 Spadef. Originally, it was 132 defense, or 124 defense. I think it was a little bit more than that, actually. But I had to switch it because in my mocks, Genesect kept getting the special attack boost on my Tapu Fini when it would come in, and it was just kind of running through my team. So I definitely just want to keep giving it the physical attack boost as much as possible, since that was a lot less scary for my team to handle. So yeah, so this is primarily, like I said, my Zygarde counter, not really counter, but check. So yeah, so up next we got Man-Thing, the Cradily, first week bringing it with the leftovers, Storm Drain, Stone Edge, Giga Drain, Recover, and Stealth Rocks. With max HP, 36 attack, 188 defense, 12 special attack, and 20 Spadef with a Sassy Nature. With the Sassy Nature, it still allows us to outspeed Palossand as long as he's uninvested, which I thought was perfect. This is the same case scenario as Tapu Fini, where I wasn't initially this much special defense. I had more physical defense, but I had to switch it up because of the +1 to special attack, which was just screwing me over every time in my mocks. The Stone Edge is to hit things like Genesect, stuff like that. Pretty much everything that Giga Drain doesn't hit. Initially, I had Seed Bomb there, but in my mocks, I was getting Will-O-Wisp by Rotom Wash, since this is my primary switch into that thing. I kept getting burnt by the Rotom Wash with Will-O-Wisp, and it was just kind of like nullifying any damage this thing wanted to do. So I decided to go mixed, and it also helped me to hit like a coil Zygarde, if that came down to it. So yeah, so this thing does about. It's just kind of annoying for his team to deal with, honestly, with Recover. And getting Stealth Rocks up is like very important for this match, just to whittle down his team, because I know he likes to pivot around a lot. So Stealth Rocks were very important for his team this week, against his team, I should say. Stone Edge is just to hit everything hard that Giga Drain doesn't hit. Hits the Crobat hard, hits the Genesect pretty hard. Does about 40% to the Genesect, so I was happy with that, as long as it's not too bulky. And then Giga Drain, Giga Drain is just there to hit like Rotom and stuff like that, and Zygarde. So yeah, and then we have the Storm Drain, obviously, to bait in the Hydro Pumps and take those and get the +1 special attack to have harder hitting Giga Drains and stuff like that. So yeah, so this mon was pretty much just meant to be a big nuisance for his team, and pretty much my only switch in to Rotom, as it didn't really hit it with anything. The strongest thing it could hit me with it was like a Hex after like a Will-O-Wisp, but it really didn't even do that much. So this set I thought was really good against his team. Next up, we got our Deathstroke, the Gallade. With the Gallade, I obviously justified with Sword Stance, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and Shadow Sneak. With 12 HP, 252 attack, 228 defense, 44 Spadef, and 172 speed with a Jolly Nature. This thing outspeeds Zygarde always. That's pretty much the highest speed tier I thought I needed it to outspeed, which is a non-boosted Zygarde. Sword Stance, so this set, the entire week, I kept changing it around. Initially, I had, Taunt over Shadow Sneak, and I had Bulk Up, and I had Close Combat at one point over Drain Punch, and it just kept switching around. But I kind of decided on this as +2 Shadow Sneak OHKOs a Alakazam from full, always. Unless if he's, ridiculously bulky. So I thought that was necessary. +2 Drain Punch does about 70% to Rotom. So if I can get some tip on Rotom, which it shouldn't be that big of a problem for my team. But if I can get some tip on Rotom, then this thing can come in. And the biggest problem for my team with this set is that Ditto. Since if I can get a Sword Stance up, Ditto can come in for free, especially if it's Choice Scarfed, and kind of wreak havoc against my team. But Tapu Fini is my primary switch into this, if Ditto does in fact come in. And the strongest hit he could go for Shadow Sneak, which only does about 30% to Tapu Fini. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I really didn't want to try to set up with Gallade until after the Ditto was dead. So yeah, I'm doing this team builder after the battle, and I don't exactly remember what it is, but the bulk is there for something. I think it's I can't exactly remember. I think it was plus, I don't remember. I think it was maybe a +1,000 errors or something like that. It can live, and then I just poured the rest into Spadef. I think that's what it was. But yeah, so this thing, it really does. It wreaks havoc against his team. But the Ditto is a big problem for us, so I really can't set up until the Ditto's gone. Or if he just doesn't bring it, then that's perfect. But yeah, this thing is really good. It's one of my Alakazam checks, as it can always live a modest Shadow Ball, as long as he's not set up, obviously. So yeah, so next we got Angel, our Jirachi, with the Choice Scarf, with the Serene Grace, Iron Head, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and U-Turn, with max HP, max speed, and 4 Spadef with a Jolly Nature. I just put the 4 speed into Spadef, so Genesect wouldn't get a special attack boost. But the max HP is just to do as much damage as possible, and the max speed is to outspeed a max speed Genesect that is Choice Scarfed, as that was a really big problem for my team. So I want to outspeed that thing. Iron Heads just generally flinch things. It can be a win con, just depending. Ice Punch is obviously there to hit things like Zygarde, stuff like that. Fire Punch is there to hit the Genesect very hard. And the U-turn is just for good pivot, as Rotom Wash is most likely going to be his main switch into this thing. Excuse me. So, yeah, so the U-turn is pretty much the main button I'm going to be clicking on this set. But, you know, it has some coverage elsewhere for late game and stuff like that. A Choice Scarf U-turn from a Jirachi does about 70% to a Alakazam, and then obviously I'll outspeed. So if I can get some chip on the Alakazam, then this Jirachi can handle it. So yeah, so this thing's primary job was to give me something to handle Choice Scarfed Genesect, to handle Alakazam, a +1 Zygarde after some chip, an Ice Punch can OHKO, as long as he's not Yachi, obviously. And the Iron Head's just kind of a good win con. So yeah, so this thing is just generally good against like pretty much his whole team. But it's primarily there to check things like Genesect and Alakazam. So next we have Pyro, our Chandelure, with the Citrus Berry, Flash Fire, Shadow Ball, Overheat, Will-O-Wisp, and Haze. With 252 HP, 244 defense with a Bull Nature and 12 special attack. This set was also one that kept switching around kind of. Initially I had like Flamethrower and Fire Blast over Overheat, and then I kind of had Memento over Shadow Ball, stuff like that. It just kept kind of switching around. But this thing's primary job is like it's my only, I'd say, check to Slurpuff. My Jirachi can live a Drain Punch from a Slurpuff, but like it doesn't really OHKO back. So this thing is my primary switch in. So like the moment a Slurpuff comes in, I go into this immediately, and like if let's say it clicks like a special move like Dazzling Gleam or Surf or something like that, I can easily just go out into my Tapu Fini. But this thing switches into it. After rocks, it will take a Thief, I believe, and then it'll get the Citrus Berry damage back. It will get the well, I guess not after a Thief, but I can click Will-O-Wisp and burn that thing, and then I can click Haze. And then Shadow Ball and over here are just primarily like good coverage moves. I didn't really need the speed for anything or more special attack at all. But yeah, so this thing is my primary switch into that. It also does good against other things like Arcanine and stuff like that. It's not the best against Arcanine, but it's pretty good. So yeah, so this thing, like I said, it's pretty much there to handle the Slurpuff, so I don't lose to it. So yeah, so finally we have our Salamence with the Yachi Berry, nicknamed Fin Fang Foom, if anyone gets that reference. Good on you. These are all superhero references, so you might be able to Google that. But like I said, with the Yachi Berry, Intimidate with the Draco Meteor, Toxic, Roost, and Flamethrower. With 148 HP, 4 defense, 28 special attack, 76 special defense, and max speed. The max speed allows me to outspeed a non-scarfed Genesect, obviously. And I can click Flamethrower, which will OHKO that thing unless it's bulky. The Yachi Berry is obviously there in case if he is Choice Scarfed and he wants to stay in and click an Ice Beam. I can tank that and OHKO it back with the Flamethrower, obviously. Draco Meteor is just pretty much to hit things hard. It's kind of like a last resort move. If I'm like about to die, I can just click it to get big boy damage off. Toxic is there just for like things like Palossand, Salamence, because this is, or not Salamence, excuse me, Arcanine. Since this Salamence is pretty much my only Arcanine switch in. And an Arcanine's Wild Charge, even if it's Choice Banded at -1, doesn't even two-shot. So yeah, so then the Roost is there, obviously, for longevity. Yeah, so like Toxic is good against like things like Salamence, or not Salamence, I keep saying Salamence. It's good against things like Zygarde, Arcanine, stuff like that. Just the things that are hard to whittle down. Palossand is really good against, since I don't really want to be clicking Draco and dropping my special attack. So yeah, so the Flamethrower is primarily just there for the Salamence, but I keep saying Salamence, for the Genesect, but it's also pretty much Draco Meteor and Flamethrowers was really the only coverage moves I needed. So, yeah. So the bulk, I can't exactly remember what it lives. I think it was like a +1, because the Glade can give a Genesect a +1 special attack boost. So I think it was a +1 Ice Beam, if I'm not mistaken, from a timid Genesect. So I thought that was good. The speed, like I said, outspeeds a non-Scarf Genesect, and I can also scout if I'm going to lead. The plan is to lead Salamence, and if he leads Genesect, I can tell off the Intimidate versus the download if he is Scarfed or not, since I should always outspeed unless if he's not Scarfed, or unless if he is Scarfed, excuse me. So that should give me good information that I can play off of. So yeah, so this thing's primarily just to be annoying. Like I said, I can take 2 wild charges off the Choice Band, Arcanine. It can live hits from Genesect with an Ice Beam as long as I'm from full. So yeah. So anyways, guys, I'm not too confident in this team, to be honest. I switched Salamence out for Dragonite on Sunday, like the day before we battled, and I kind of felt bad for switching out so late. But like I honestly was going back and forth on my entire team all week. Like I could not settle on anything until the last minute. And even when I was genning stuff, like I was changing things around and like fixing EVs and stuff like that. So I wasn't 100% confident in this team, not going to lie. But anyways, guys, let's see how it does. I'm going to stop talking and we can get right into the battle. Alright, guys, so we're back. So let's look at his team here. So we got Genesect, Ditto, Rotom, Palossand, Zygarde, and Alakazam. That is what he brought. Not too surprised by anything here, to be honest. Palossand was kind of surprising, but it wasn't that crazy of a thought in my mind. I kind of expected something like Arcanine or Slurpuff instead, but I'm not going to complain that those aren't there. So just kind of looking at his team, I know my Glade's going to be really good against his team once Ditto goes down. I need to keep Tapu Fini healthy for that Zygarde. And I see the Genesect, so I really want to lead the Salamence. Also, my Salamance's usefulness kind of went down at this point. Since the Arcanine's not here, so it doesn't really have anything to handle. Obviously, it handles the Genesect and stuff like that, and it can 1v1 Palossand and can deal big damage to like pretty much his whole team. But you know, the thing he was brought for wasn't really here, so it wasn't really the most necessary thing. Same with Chandelure. Chandelure like doesn't really do much against anything, unless the Genesect doesn't really have coverage for it, I guess. So yeah, so I'm gonna lead my Salamence. Like I said, if he wants to lead the Genesect, I can get the information off if he is if his download goes first or not, or if my Intimidate goes first, just to know if he's Scarfed or not. If he does choose to lead that, let me turn the volume. Hopefully you guys can hear the battle music. So he does actually decide to lead the Genesect, which was perfect for me. It wasn't perfect, but it gave me the information I needed off of it to see if he was Scarfed or not. And we see the download go first, so we know he is in fact Choice Scarfed, which was perfect to know. And so we get the Intimidate off. He gets a +1 attack, but we nullify that. So here we know we can live anything, so we're just going to go for a nice Flamethrower. He could go to like Zygarde or something, but at that point I can just Draco in his face. And he doesn't really know what kind of set I am, so he actually goes Palossand, which was perfect. I go for the Flamethrower, and it does about 20-ish%, I want to say. Yeah, about 20%. And we don't see leftovers, so we're kind of suspicious of that. But we're just gonna go for the Toxic here. Start whittling him down. We could see like him Power Ice or something, but we actually just see him go for the Stealth Rocks, which isn't that bad for us. We can easily get rid of those if we need to. But my team isn't that worried about Stealth Rocks in general. So here I'm just gonna kind of spam Flamethrower, just kind of slowly whittle this thing down. I have this thing on a timer now with Toxic, and I just kind of want to scout for like an HP Ice or something like that. As he does just go for the Shadow Ball, which brings me a little bit below half with a crit, which isn't the worst case scenario. I can Roost here. He might be expecting the Roost and want to switch out, but I'm just going to go for it to get my HP back. As he doesn't switch out, so I just get the Roost off. It's going to get me pretty close to full, as he's just going to go for a Shore Up just to get his HP back. So here He's going to get half of his HP back, and then he's going to take some toxic damage. And off the calc, I knew Draco Meteor would kill from here, but I wasn't 100% sure if he would switch out, so I just decided to go for the Flamethrower again. I was really going back and forth between Draco and Flamethrower, but if I would have gone for the Draco here, that would have been perfect. I would have gotten rid of his Ditto, and my Salamence would have, or my Galeko just came in, and that would have been GG. But, you know, we do just go for the Flamethrower here, get a nice little tiny bit of chip off, about 10%. And here, we expect him to want to go for a Draco. We know he's smarter than that, but we just decided to go out into my top affinity either way. As he's just going to double out actually into his Genesect, which was a really good play for him. Especially if I want to go for like a Draco, like expecting to live one or something like that. So we do just go out into our top affinity, get the Misty Surge up as he is a +1 attack Genesect. And we get a little bit of leftovers recovery. And here I know best thing he can go for is Thunderbolt. And I expect him to want to go for that, either that or U-turn. So I'm just going to go on to my my Angel, my G.O.A.T. It can live both those. It takes less than half from a Thunderbolt, which he actually does go for. So it does about like 35%, which was not that big of a deal. So here I just decided, I believe I go for the U-turn. I want to say I go for the U-turn. Yeah, I go for the U-turn off of that Genesect, as I knew he wouldn't really want to stay in, as I did know he was Choice Scarfed. And it's just going to deal a little bit of chip to Rotom, as I can give him my Greedilly in for free here to set up some Stealth Rocks, get some leftovers from both of us. So yeah, so his Rotom's going to get some leftovers recover. I will too. Get pretty close back up to full, as I can just freely get up my Stealth Rocks here, as he will Volt Switch. I assumed he wouldn't have anything to touch this, and I was correct. So he is going to go out into his Genesect, as I do just set up my free Stealth Rocks, as I said. And we know he has a U-turn, so I was doing the damage calcs, and a +1 U-turn doesn't OHKO me. And so I decided just to go for the Recover, just to see what he kind of wants to go for. As I know, +1 U-turn will just do about like 80%, but I can just recover 50% of that off. As he does go for the U-turn, it brings me pretty low, but I know I can just click Recover here and just get it all back. As he goes out into Palisand, which was kind of an odd play. I was just assuming he wanted to kind of sack it off, but I wasn't 100% sure. So we're going to get our Recover back. We're going to get some Lefties back. So here I'm just going to assume that he wanted to sack this thing off, is what I was assuming here. So, and I didn't want to give him a free switch into anything after this thing goes down. So I go on to my Salamence, which can easily pressure this thing and just get some recovery back. I do take Stealth Rocks damage, get the Intimidate off, as he does just go for the, he doubles, I'm sorry, he does double. And he goes on to his Genesect. And from here, based off that Thunderbolt damage, I did the calc, and I can live an Ice Beam with my Yache Berry from here. So I just decided to stay in. I was tempted to click Roost, but I didn't want him to Ice Beam, and then I'd have to switch out. So I didn't click Roost. I just clicked the Flamethrower, as he does go back out into Palisand. And so we get a nice another 20% off on this Palisand, as he does come in and take rocks, and he does take toxic damage, and he does live on about 5%, which is perfect because I can just get a free Roost off to get back out of Ice Beam range. As long as the Shadow Ball doesn't really get a high roll on me. So he does click Shadow Ball, and he does unfortunately get one of the higher rolls, which is not that good for me. I needed 116 left to guaranteed live, but I'm left at 113, which was kind of unfortunate. As he does go back out into Genesect, and I keep saying in, so I'm expecting him just to get sick of wanting to U-turn out, and I expect him to go either for Ice Beam or Thunderbolt, but I thought Ice Beam was a lot more, made a lot more sense in my mind. So I made the aggressive switch into top affinity, but as you can see here, he does in fact go for the Thunderbolt, which kind of screws me over really. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it puts me in range where a +1,000 arrows will one-shot me, which is a big problem for my team. Since Zygarde is a really big threat, but I know I can easily go out into my Greedilly here, since he is choice into an electric type move, and I can just easily eat those up. So I'm gonna go down below a little below half here, but after leftovers recovery, I believe I will be above half. Yep, and I can just go for a free recover here. I just want to keep this thing around as long as I can. It's really pressuring his team, being really annoying. As he does go out into the Zygarde, which was not good for me at all, because I did not want to give this thing free setup, but I unfortunately did. As I go for the recover, and I was running Calx, and if he's a bulky Zygarde and he has Substitute, my Giga Drains won't be breaking Substitute, neither will my Stone Edges. So I decided to go into Salamence, just sack that thing off, get the Intimidate drop on it. As I know I can go out into my G.O.A.T after, and he does in fact go for the Dragonance. So yeah, so he's going to go for the Dragonance here. And I expect him to want to KO me, so I just go for the Draco Meteor, as he does in fact just KO me. And just goes for the 1,000 arrows. Yeah. So we're going to take the 1,000 arrows. We're going to go down. The first kill of the game, but... or the second kill of the game, I'm sorry. First kill? Second kill. Yeah, second kill. But we're just going to go into Jirachi, click Ice Punch. Didn't want to play around with this thing. He could be Yachi, but at that point I could just go out into something like Gallade or something, unless if he gets to +2. But like I said, I can live with +1,000 arrows, as I said in the team builder, so unless if he wants to lock into the Outrage, we should be good. As we do go for the Ice Punch, he goes into his Rotom, and here I'm just like, okay, I don't really need... Or, I'm sorry, what my thought process... Here, I'll pause it. My thought process here was he was going to go for the Will-O-Wisp to either catch the Cradilly or get the Jirachi on the like him staying in. So I expected him to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And it was also, if he went for like a Thunderbolt, it was also to bait the Hydro Pump next turn. Because he could expect me to have Energy Ball. So I wanted to bait that Hydro Pump so I could double out into Cradilly. So he does in fact go for the Will-O-Wisp, which I get Flash Fire boost from, which I don't expect to use at all. And he gets a little bit of leftovers recovery, so he's about 75%. And as I do double out into my Great Dilly, I'm hoping to bait the Hydro Pump. As we take a little bit of Stealth Rocks, and as we do see that we do in fact bait the Hydro Pump, so we get the +1 special attack, which was perfect. So here we can freely click either Stone Edge or Giga Drain, depending on what we expect him to go into. I did expect him to go into Genesect, I believe. So I do believe I clicked Stone Edge here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think I clicked Stone Edge here, but he does go out into the Ditto. Just kind of wanted to see what my set is, which is understandable. Also get the +1 special attack boost. So yeah, so I go for Stone Edge, get him below half. And I expect him to want to recover here. And even if he starts Giga Draining with me, it won't be that big of a deal, as he does go for the recover. So I'm just going to Giga Drain and get like 35% off. So yeah, so I'm going to click the Giga Drain. And I know he's locked into recover unless if he's not Choice Scarfed. So here I expect him to want to go out into the Genesect. Just wanting to like eat a Giga Drain. So he's gonna get the download boost. And I'm gonna click Stone Edge, and it's gonna actually do about 50% to this thing, which is crazy for a Cradilly. But like I said, again, I'm gonna stay in, take the U-turn, as I know I can take it and just get a free recover off. If he wants to go for Ice Beam, I can easily go out into Finny or something like that. So I'm just gonna recover here, as he does go into Zygarde. Now I know at +1 special attack, I do about 35% of this thing with Giga Drain, 30 to 35% roughly. So I know I can just be spamming Giga Drain, and I was running the Calx, and a +2 Outrage doesn't KO me, even if he's Adamant. Unless if he's like an attack boosting item, but we saw he wasn't leftovers. Or not, I'm sorry, Life Orb. So we're just going to click Giga Drain on the Dragonance. Like I said, it does about 30-35%. And we can honestly just keep spamming Giga Drain if he wants to just keep setting up. He doesn't really have anything to switch into this at this point. I believe at +1, the Genesect will go down from from a Giga Drain plus Stealth Rocks, as he will get to +2, which I was not worried about at all. Worst case scenario, he gets like a crit on the Outrage or something, but he does just go for that 1,000 arrows, which I know I'll take about like 60-70% from, which was not that big of a deal at all. And I will click Giga Drain to get rid of the Zygarde. Which Zygarde, honestly, was such a big threat to my whole team. Like, I didn't really have anything to deal with it. So the fact that I could get rid of it so early was perfect. As I do take Giga Drain recovery and get Leftovers recovery. So here I expect him to want to go for U-turn again, but this U-turn will KO me since he's +1, and it does about 65-70%. So I expect him to want to click U-turn again. So I'm just going to go on to my my Cradilly, or not, I'm sorry, my Chandelure, I don't know what I'm saying. My Chandelure, expecting the U-turn. Hopefully to pop my Citrus Berry after the rocks, which it does. So it gets me down to 70, but I get my my Citrus Berry back, puts me about 70%. So he will have to switch out. And I expect him to want to go on to Rotom, which he does. And so I was running the Calcs, and I didn't necessarily need Cradilly for, or not Cradilly, Chandelure for anything else on his team, to be honest. As he does go for the Defog. So I'm just going to click Shadow Ball, just let this thing go down. Because if I can get a free, go out into my Cradilly and get a free recover, then that'd be perfect. My Shadow Ball does do about 40-ish percent, 35%. So I know another one won't KO. But I expect him to I expect him to expect me to go out into Cradilly here, but I don't. And so he just goes for the Volt Switch. Because worst case scenario, he goes for the Hydro Pump, and like I said, I can go out into Cradilly and get a free recover. So I just decided to stay in. If he wants to go for a Hydro Pump, great. If he wants a Volt Switch, I know I can live that and basically claim a KO on anything that he wants to go out into. Maybe not the Alakazam, but it'll do a good chunk to Alakazam where I can just easily Shadow Sneak it. So here he does go for the Volt Switch, so pretty much he has to pick a stack between Genesect, take big damage on Alakazam, or go the Ditto. And I was running Calcs on Ditto, and a Shadow Ball will OHKO my Chandelure set most of the time. And he does in fact go out into the Ditto, and from the range he's at, the Shadow Ball will definitely get him. Which was absolutely perfect. So at this point, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, as long as I can get my Mega Galaden for free at some point, I can click Sword Stance and basically win the game from there. And perfectly, he goes out into his Alakazam. And I wasn't really thinking about him setting up Calm Minds, because as long as I can get some chip, as long as he's not Calm Mind Recover, as long as I can get some chip with Shadow Ball, I'll be fine. So I just clicked the Shadow Ball here in case he wants to go for Calm Minds. I could have potentially clicked Haze, but I didn't really think that was too valuable, as he does just knock me out. So here I know, unless if he gets a crit, even if he's modest, I can live a Shadow Ball from a Mega Alakazam and just click Sword Stance and basically win the game. So at this point, we're basically just banking off him not getting a crit. If he would have gotten the crit, well, that would have been GG, and we would have just had to deal with what happened. But fortunately, we're just going to Mega up here, and he goes for the Shadow Ball, and we see the damage, and it brings me so low, but we actually do live. Does get the Spadef drop, but after a Sword Dance, that will not matter. And from that damage, I could tell he was modest, so a crit would have KO'd me. Even Timid crit would have KO'd me. But from here, I can just Shadow Sneak this. I know it OHKOs unless if he's like crazy bulky, which he isn't. So I get the Alakazam. And then so he goes into his Rotom, and it's about 40%. And I know Drain Punch will easily KO that thing. So I'm just going to Drain Punch, get some HP back. Doesn't really matter at this point, because the last thing he has in the back is that Genesect. And the Genesect is so low that Shadow Sneak will easily KO it. So at this point, that is GG to my man Kohan. The first person in the 2 leagues I'm in with him, the first person to beat him in 11 games. So I'm pretty proud of that. I was panicking during the game. I wasn't panicking like out of fear of losing. I was panicking out of like not wanting to blow it at the end, because I knew my win con after the Ditto went down. So like I said, GG to Kohanx. He's a great battler. Definitely check out his Twitch. We're 4-1, baby. We got a plus, I want to say plus 14 differential at this point, which is amazing. So anyways, guys, subscribe if you guys are new or if you haven't done that yet. Like this video, share it with your friends, get it out there, and I will see you guys next time.